69 South.
69 South.
69 South.
Welcome everyone to Podcast 69 South, where we cuss and discuss true crime, cold cases, current events, and hot topics, along with our state of society today. This is your trigger warning. Our podcast content is produced for adult listeners 18 years of age and older. We discuss situations that may be offensive and triggering to some listeners. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Welcome back to 69 South Podcast. We hope you had a good time since the last time. This is going to be part 2 of Secrets in the Snow, the Karen Reed story. This is our 6th episode, and we're glad to have you back. With me is my co-host, Julie. She's the main investigator on this case because she's been like digging into it for 3 weeks now. This episode, we are going to dig into some really red tape of the case, and you guys are going to see exactly why we're investigating this.
Also, all of our information is not from just watching other podcasts. It's from us doing our due diligence and reading court transcripts, memorandums, everything from the prosecution and defense sides that is out, and we've came to all of our own conclusions. And I think we've uncovered some stuff that we haven't heard anybody else talk about. So I'm excited to get into this. And right now we are going to read John OKeefe's text messages with Miss Karen Reed on the day prior to when he went missing and up until that morning. So you have the dynamics of the relationship.
And like Julie said, every bit of this information has come from us investigating the court case or sworn testimonies or any security footage or just anything. It's real. We're not going to broadcast any bullshit, and our opinions are not going to be based on bullshit.
Also, we do all our own everything. We're our own writers, producers. So this is fun for us, but we're new to it and we're learning, and it's going to be great.
So like Julie said, we're going to take you back to the morning of the day that this tragedy happened. So we're going to go through Karen Reed and John OKeefe's text messages to and from each other, and that'll give you a kind of a feeling on how they were feeling and what they were going through. It's going to start off that day. So without any further delay, I'm going to be reading the text messages from John OKeefe, and Julie's going to be reading the text messages to John OKeefe from Karen Reed.
Now, these messages start on January 28th of 2022 around 9:30 in the morning. So let's get into it. I'm going to be reading Karen, and Chop's going to be reading John. You have really hurt me this time.
Again, this is from John to Karen. I'm sorry, this has been an issue with me for 8 years. It physically hurts me to see everyone else in their life do things for them, and I'm always the bad guy.
I am not the same as everyone else. Most of the time, I try to do what is healthy and smart for them. More importantly, I try to support you and what you need. You just lashed out at me and said terrible things. I don't know how you've gotten to this point with me when I'm just trying my hardest. You made your point and continue to beat me down. I have a lot going on too. Physically, I'm falling apart and trying to get answers and help. I am just your girlfriend. I am not a perfect parent. I am trying very hard and sometimes treat them nothing like I used to.
I know, I'm sorry for lashing out. I'm just hurting and struggling every day with them. Always feel like I'm failing at this parent thing. I wasn't built for this.
Kaylee isn't perfect, but everything wonderful about her is because of you.
And the next one from him was redacted, so we'll go back to you.
It's time. Sorry, it's true. I know she's her mother's daughter, but she wouldn't be so bright and successful if she lived with anyone else. Wow, Kristen just sent you 2 back-to-back messages to not lose your faith in the kids or in yourself.
Another message from John to Karen that was redacted, so we'll go back to you.
No, life can pick you up sometimes. Please be happy with them and put away your frustrations for the rest of the day and be so proud of yourself, JJ.
That bothers me more than anything. Should have spent Peg's or Sarah's W-2s. We are all equal guardians.
Maybe you can call someone.
Like who? What time are you coming here? Another redacted one, so back to you.
I don't know what time. Feel kind of out of it. Just trying to clear my head.
Another one from John to Karen. All it says is okay.
Text me when you guys settle in later.
Sure.
I feel pretty shitty about how this morning went down. I know you said sorry, but it really stung. Especially when I've been trying pretty hard lately. I feel like a loser turning around and just coming back over there after everything you said.
Not sure what else you want me to do. I am sorry I was out of line. If you prefer to stay home, I totally get it.
Things in my own life have been difficult too, you know.
I know.
Tell me if you are interested in someone else. Can't think of any other reason you've been like this.
Nope. These haven't been great between us for a while. Ever consider that? Kids are here, not in the mood to talk.
So you're not into it anymore. That's fine. But I don't want to keep trying and keep you treating me like this. I'm trying to hug and kiss you this morning and you whack me in the face with a pillow. Last night, you're basically like, yeah, what about? When we talk about the future. So why don't you just admit you're not into it so much anymore?
That's not how it went down, but okay.
Can you please admit your head is out of the game with us?
Sick of always arguing and fighting. It's been weekly for several months now, so yeah, I'm not so quick to jump back in to being lovey-dovey as you are apparently. Oh my God, stop calling.
Then why would you start with me this morning? You're setting me up to fail. You start a number of fights from your end.
I've explained it a few times already, not doing it again.
So you're not into this anymore.
Not into fighting all the time, correct.
If you tell me you're interested in someone else, you will never hear from me again. You can have all the space in the world.
The next message from John to Karen was redacted, so back to you.
Then stop starting with me.
I am not answering. Stop calling.
Can you please answer after how you treated me earlier?
Kaylee is right here.
You start a rager with me out of nowhere and then tell me you're sick of fighting with me? I'm going to grab a drink in a bit. Can you please answer?
No, Karen. Not sure why you need to announce that you're grabbing a drink, but have fun.
Sing if you want to meet me later. Can you please call me?
Have to take them to the doctor. He has practice.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
My father just walked in.
Okay, can you please call me for 2 minutes?
Not right now.
I'm there when anyone else needs me. Yes, John, you gave me utter grief this morning. I'd like you to call me for a minute. I've been trying to get over the hump with this arguing, and now you tell me you're not into things and you don't want to fight weakly and fly off the handle at Sam with me, like you're setting me up to fail. I've been dealing with my own personal crisis over things I have zero control over. I'd like to lean on you sometimes. Instead, I just hear everything I've done wrong. You seriously cannot pick up the phone for 2 seconds. Why don't you meet me at the hillside at 4:30, 5 o'clock?
Another redacted one from John.
Or whenever you get settled.
Like I said, at Doctor now, and he has practice until 6. If you want to go start drinking, then go for it.
I didn't know the times of his practice. I just want to give you space at the house without me there, so I'd rather meet you out than meet at the house.
Well, now there's a 72-year-old taking up shop on my couch.
Yeah, that too. Is he going to Collins?
Not tonight.
So, do you plan on going out tonight?
Karen, I don't know. You're like jonesing to drink, so just go.
Okay, well, after how this morning went down, I don't think I need to be back over there with you. Getting frustrated at how I am with the kids has nothing to do with drinking. I am paranoid now that everything I do with them is problematic, so I'd rather see you for a minute without kids around.
What's your plan?
Don't have one.
Still at home?
Yes.
We just got home, waiting to see what Papa decides here, or else I have to get Patrick at 6.
Okay.
So are you staying home or coming here?
Waiting to see what you end up doing. I don't want to hang out at the house too much. Like I said, I think it's clear me around with the kids around is slowly killing our relationship, and our relationship is much more important to me.
Well, there's a blizzard coming, so we'll be inside all weekend.
It'll be over by noon tomorrow.
Don't think so.
I don't want to keep having this constant conflict of the dynamic of the four of us. The harder I try, the more it kills our relationship as a couple. It feels like utter shit to be in this position. Rather just meet you out for drinks when you figure out what your night looks like.
Well, I have no idea what's going on, so do you want... Need to figure out what everyone else is doing. All I know is that Madeline is coming over, no clue about Patrick yet, or if Papa is planning on hanging for a few more hours.
Okay, well, when you know the story and if you want me to come up, let me know.
No, Karen, you decide what you want to do.
I know your heart isn't in this anymore. I've felt it for a while, and especially lately. I am willing to try more, but not if you're approaching the point of indifference. If you want me to come up and you can head out for a while, then say so when you know what your father is doing.
So you come up and I head out. Really? I've told you already, I don't bounce back as quickly as you do after we have a battle.
No, head out together. Or meet up.
Gonna send Patrick to Collins tonight. They're picking him up around 7. Mike may hang too when brings Matt over. So why don't you just come over?
Mike doesn't want to go out for a bit, ? I would like to. Been a shitty day from the jump.
Probably. I just got sober an hour ago.
I'll let you hang with Mike for a few. Don't need to butt in. Text me if and when you think you may head out. Can you please send me Tim Zoll's contact info, please?
I already paid the last bill.
You didn't have to do that, thanks. Are you really not going to accept my friend request?
On what, Facebook?
Yeah, we have been going out for 2 years.
I haven't gone on. You've defriended me over a year ago, I believe.
Carrie texted that they're headed out in a little bit.
Okay, ...
She's going to let me know where.
So, you're going to meet them?
Just presenting it as an option. Wouldn't mind hanging out with them for a drink. Is Mike over?
Yes.
Sounds like you're good with getting together tonight. Was hoping after this morning you'd be interested in smoothing things over with me.
Told you to come over, but you insisted on meeting me out somewhere.
Mike is a little off with me for a while now. I've said it multiple times.
Time to get over it, Karen. He's fine, and he was fine the other night when he came by.
Yeah, just wouldn't mind hanging out with other people, like another female too.
Where are you meeting them?
I don't have plans with them. She just said they're headed out in a bit and will text you when they land somewhere. If you want to go out with Mike solo, that's fine. Just let me know.
I already told you what you should do. Not going to keep doing this.
I asked to let me know if you guys are going to head out. I haven't been out for drinks this week and had a shit week and a shit day. And I dread Kaylee or Pat is going to get chatty with me the second I walk in. And that's going to irritate you.
Pat is leaving. Kay is with Mad Cam. I'll text Chris then. We're headed out shortly. What's your plan, Karen?
Do you want me to join or no?
Yes. Wasn't sure if you were meeting the Currans.
They are not out drinking yet. Where are you headed?
Trying to decide. Maybe McCarthy's.
Okay, then. Let me know where you decide. I'm still down in Mansfield.
Tell me when you leave. Still waiting on McKinney's.
I'm having issues with my hot water, so had to text someone to take a look.
You trying to piss me off? Hope your plumber buddy that you texted is hot.
Nope, my shower only got lukewarm, and now my sink won't run it hot at all. The plumber I used is right down the road. I turned the temp thing in the basement all the way up.
Check the water heater and see if it's leaking.
It's not.
Don't do that. Is the pilot lit?
I was trying to get my shower hot. Yes.
Don't turn it up all the way. It will burn out.
I had this issue twice before, and it wasn't a disaster. I just can't remember what the cause was.
Just turn it back down to where it was and get over here.
I don't want to come home in a blizzard and be up shit creek.
So you're going home tonight?
Or tomorrow or whenever. I've had a chill all day since my shower.
It's going to snow all day tomorrow. No driving. We're headed to McCarthy's.
Okay, let me know if you end up leaving.
Why? Now you're not coming?
I'm waiting for the plumber. I actually think he's in the driveway.
We're taking Mike's car, so I'm relying on you on a ride home if he leaves.
He's not going home after ?
8 o'clock on Friday. He may have to get Michael. You have a plumber coming over at 8 o'clock, knowing me and Papa could have handled it. Good luck.
I have always told you I will not put either of you out of your way the way everyone else in your life does. I knew it wasn't working right when you were at the doctor's with Kaylee, and I knew neither of you could get here. And this guy, Richie, fixed it last time. Whatever it was, he was supposed to be here at 5. If it's not a quick fix, I'll tell him just to forget it.
Well, if you need a whole new water heater, don't let him do it.
He's here now. If it's not quick, I'm not doing it. I just want to be sure nothing is wrong or will go wrong when I'm not home. He's not a scammer. Half the quick stuff he doesn't even charge me for. He just puts the toilet seat on crooked.
Status?
Still here. Said he's got to go to HD and probably be back Monday.
So?
Just trying to figure out if I need to be here.
What does it need?
I don't know. He showed me some piece that was all rusted. I don't understand half of this stuff.
On the water heater?
Yes.
Tell him to leave. I'll take care of it Sunday or Monday.
No, it's okay. I can either meet him here or just shut off the alarm. He used to work here while I was at work.
Does he realize it will be a whiteout conditions tomorrow, a.m.?
Yeah, but he lives right down the road.
Karen, this storm is going to be intense. Can't drive.
Okay, well, if he can't, he can't.
I'll do it Monday.
Ha! I better not still have this problem on Monday.
You plan on being there?
I don't know. I can take a hot shower here if I needed to.
Figured you'd be in Canton till Monday. I'm getting off the phone. Let me know what you're doing.
I think the 4 of us together is toxic to this relationship. Would like to limit it. You've said so yourself for probably a year now.
We have another redacted text.
No.
So we're going to go back to you.
Blizzard tomorrow. Nobody's going anywhere. Maybe I'll come back late tonight. Bad snow is in the early a.m. I'm headed up there in a few minutes. Let me know if you leave.
Sure. That's the end of the text thread that we want to share because the rest of the text thread is really small and it takes place after John O'Keefe's body is found. So we're going to go back and we're going to go through these text messages, not reread them, but just our opinions and what we think exactly the feelings and what's going on right here.
So from out of the gate, these messages, you can tell there's some type of problems or distance because her first text was, "You really have hurt me this time." So that he is sorry for lashing out. He is hurting and struggling daily, and he always feels like he's failing at this parenting thing and that he wasn't built for it. So he's really struggling internally with raising his niece and nephew and not necessarily having enough support from his family or his mom. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting because Karen's there trying to help, but it seems like when she tries to help, he gets aggravated at her. So they're just completely on the rocks.
Right. And it also seems to me like he has so many things going on. And at this point in their relationships, through reading the text thread, he's kind of pushing her off. And it seems like he's tired of fucking with all of it. It seems like they're like immaturely back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Do you get that from that?
I sure do.
Because I sure do. And to me, it doesn't seem like he doesn't give a shit one way or the other, even though he says, "Are you coming or not?" It seems like she's throwing out there some bullshit, fishing, and he's just like, be real, be straight. Are we going to meet? Are you coming? I mean, you can come to the house. He's giving her options, and she's has reasons for a lot of these options. She doesn't want to go out with Mike because her and Mike's not cool. She doesn't want to come to the house because his father's there, and she thinks there's going to be issues with the kids conversating with them. I mean, so she's the one kind of throwing the wrenches in everything that he is suggesting.
Yeah, but then he's like, "Oh, are you coming over here? I'm sorry." It's like he wants her there, but he wants her there, but he doesn't sometimes. I mean, I'm sure she's crazy and they've been fighting. It sounds like they've been at a standoff for
At least that day from that morning.
Yeah, everything's not been going good and everything's not perfect. And this thing about this plumber, like she was trying to piss him off.
Yeah, because he even said, "Are you trying to fucking piss me off?" I mean, it's Friday night. She already said she was ready to drink, She had a rough week. She offered to meet him at
the Hillside
bar,
which
which is her regular bar. You'll find out later that through text threads from her and Brian Higgins that is her watering hole, and she's there every weekend. So it's kind of hard for me to imagine that she's waiting on a plumber that late on a Friday night when she has already took her shower. That seems kind of hokey to me. I wonder if she was really even home at this point, because she was sure wanting to know when he was leaving, where he was at, where he was going, kind of like maybe she could be somewhere else and she just wanted to know what the ETA is, or,
so she know where he's at.
Absolutely.
And he's not showing up. But she did ask him, "Will you meet me at the Hillside bar?"
Right. At what, 4:30? Or 5 o'clock?
Yeah, around 4:30.
Because she needed a drink.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that she's already at the Hillside bar, having a few drinks, getting a little loose, and then she's going to meet him later somewhere at another bar.
Now, I think we've had some other information that maybe some other people was at the Hillside bar at this time, too.
But we're
going
into
to get into that a little bit later.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. The rest of these text threads happen after John O'Keefe was found dead. So at this point, we're going to move back to the crime scene after John O'Keefe was found in the snow, and we're going to go back to the crime scene, and we're going to kind of tell you what happened in the crime scene and go over it and tell you what we think about it and get your opinion on that crime scene too, because there's a lot of shit that's not done right there. I mean, even a common sense person can tell this.
Now, once the police are on scene, the EMT/paramedics get John loaded up into the ambulance, and they take him to Good Samaritan Hospital, where they don't know the extent of his injuries, but they're trying to get him warmed back up. They think he's just frozen at this point, and they feel like they can save him. Now, Karen is absolutely losing her shit so bad she can barely speak. So Jen McCabe is the first person to speak with the police and the paramedics when they arrive. At some point after the paramedics left with John, Karen and Carrie leave to go to the hospital. But the police called Carrie Roberts back and had her bring Karen Reed back to the scene because her father had called dispatch, afraid that Karen was suicidal, and they were going to Section 12 her. She was making statements that she didn't want to live anymore because she thinks John is dead. So, of course, Carrie Roberts takes Karen back to the scene, and the ambulance is waiting because Section 12 is like, the fifth floor loony bin type shit. Well, Karen arrives at the hospital. She is clearly in shock and screaming, crying for John, and she sees John's brother Paul as he's walking through the hallway, and he blows her a kiss and goes on to find out the status as he waits with his parents and his longtime friend, Carrie Roberts. about how John is doing and what the prognosis is. Sadly, doctors arrived to let the family know that Officer John O'Keefe sadly did not make it and that he had passed away.
Now, at this point, I want to take you back to the crime scene. I have been a crime junkie my whole life. I have studied crime scene. I have studied the analytics of crime scene, and this crime scene was definitely not treated right. And this really pisses me off because this is a Boston police officer. Nobody knows what happened to him yet. The initial injuries look pretty shaky to me. He was found in a Boston police officer's yard. Okay, so right now the protocol would have been everybody at that house, everybody that was with him last night should have been separated, should have been took to the station, should have been formally interviewed. The crime scene, a certain perimeter around where John O'Keefe was found in the snow, that should have been coordinated off. That should have been taped off. There should have been an officer there protecting evidence. They should have tested everything for blood. They should have took measurements, the way he was laying, the distance from the road, his position. They should have got every little bit of information anywhere. I mean, literally, they didn't do shit. The police detectives dropped the ball on this, I have to say, and that's aggravating as shit to me because that's a big problem with this case. And there's reasons why it was done like that as well.
The responding officers attempted to section off the area, but gave up shortly after because the wind became too much for them. No measurements were taken of where John's body was laying in reference to his surrounding. Since it was snowing and no tent was put up, snow just continues to fall, blow all over the initial spot where John's body was. So they decided to take a snow blower to try and find evidence in the snow. All they found was his phone underneath him and broken pieces of glass. He was also missing a shoe, and his body was laying on snow, and there was approximately 6 blood stains in the snow. This lasted a whole 2 hours. Officers were off the scene by 8 a.m., and it wasn't preserved in any type of way.
Now, just to specify, the glass that was found on the crime scene initially wasn't glass from any type of evidence. It was the glass that he was seen holding outside. It was a drink glass. That was the glass that was found initially.
The family leave the hospital and go to John's residence because John's niece Kaylee is home alone and they need to tell her what has happened to John and wait for her younger brother to be dropped off from being at his friend's house the previous evening. Meanwhile, Karen is still at the hospital being Section 12. They do a blood draw and then they release her shortly after that. Her father drives her to John's house where she goes in to talk to the family and gather her belongings and drives her car to her parents' home in North Dighton, Massachusetts. Detective Sergeant Link receives a phone call from Jen McCabe at 9 a.m. asking him to meet her because she recalls Karen Reed saying, quote, "I hope I didn't hit him," end quote, while they were driving around looking for him. This is, of course, after Jim McCabe, her sister Nicole, and their husbands sit and have a little powwow for 2 hours at 34 Fairview Road, and then she magically remembers. No, that's not suspicious at all, is it?
No, I mean, you know what she said. Could I have hit him? Did I hit him? I mean, she was freaking out. She was literally freaking out. She's not screaming, "Oh, I hit him, I know I hit him." We all know that's bullshit. They spun the tables on that on her, 100%.
Yeah, from the onset of this investigation, the Canton PD has been conflicted due to Brian Albert's brother being a detective for the police department. That is why the Massachusetts State Police took jurisdiction over the investigation. Now, what are some of the first things that happen in an investigation like this? Imagine a cop found dead on your lawn that you just so happen to be hanging out with at the bar, then invited said cop to your house. He gets dropped off, and by morning, he is dead on your front lawn. I'm sure police would be knocking on my front door. My whole entire property would be sectioned off as a crime scene. There would be search warrants of my home, electronic seizures of everyone in my house. Each and every witness would have gone down to PD and been formally interviewed, just like you said.
Absolutely. And I would have volunteered that had I not had a thing to do with it.
But not in this case. Miss Jim McCabe was allowed to go into her sister's Nicole's house and wake them up. You would think, as a trained emergency first responder, Brian Albert would have heard the commotion outside. Surely his German Shepherd dog would have been barking at the window to wake them up, seeing that the bedroom window was only 50 foot from a dead body.
Now, keep in mind, by the end of the day, the detective, and this detective is going to be a big part of the story, especially his testimony. He has already made up his mind that Karen Reed did it. Karen Reed was drunk. She hit him with her Lexus SUV and then left him there in the snow to die. 2 days later, Karen Reed was arrested. Nothing in this case seems to make any sense until the trial starts. Meanwhile, being accused of murder is not a good look. Her career at Fidelity Investments, done. Her adjustment professor job at Bentley College, done. Now, earlier in this episode, we shared Karen and John's text messages the day before he was found unalived. And that gave us a better picture of what was going on in their relationship. Let's be honest.
This situationship was on the rocks, going south. They seemed to be in the middle of making it work or calling it quits. Karen, in my opinion, was entertaining the idea of moving on, but was stuck and indecisive about it. The reason we know this is because text messages between Karen and Brian Higgins came to light during this investigation. Brian Higgins is one of Brian Albert's best friends. He was at the Waterfall Bar and Grill with John and Karen, along with the Alberts and McCabe's. He was also in attendance at the so-called after party at the Alberts the night before John's death.
Unfortunately, we're about out of time on this one, but we have so much to get into. There is so many juicy text messages and situations between Karen Reed and Brian Higgins. I cannot wait to get into these and tell them to you. You're going to freak out. It's going to open up a lot, and it's going to change your mind about a lot of shit. So with that being said, we're going to get into that and a few other things that are going to blow your mind in our next episode, and we're going to be dropping it ASAP. We're having a good time doing this, and we're going to get it out there as soon as we can to you. So until then, have a good day, good evening, whatever.